So this is it then, the hot hatch of the moment, the car we've been waiting for to build since the Escort Cosworth, a Ford Focus RS with all-wheel drive. It's about bloody time.
While that's big news, there's plenty of other things to talk about, like the 2.3-litre EcoBoost engine. It's from the Mustang, but has a bigger turbo to deliver 350 horsepower. The RS also gets adaptive dampers, a variable exhaust, plus a raft of clever electronics to let you drive the car like you stole it, but with a safety net if you want one.
But first, we really need to talk about the styling because I'm not that convinced. So you've got this huge grille there, which looks like it could swallow children. This paint scheme, I do really like it, but it's a £750 option. Those black 19-inch wheels, they'll cost you an extra £600, and you have to pay an extra £100 if you want painted calipers. Now at the sides, you have some prominent side skirts and an even more prominent spoiler here at the back with a RS logo on it. Now as you come all the way around, you'll notice you've got a large rear diffuser and two huge exhaust pipes which are absolutely massive. But I don't know, there's just something about this car. You know, I really like the look of the Mark II Ford Focus RS. It looked like a World Rally car. This one though, it's almost as though someone's taken their dad's 1.6 litre Focus and just modded it.
Part of the reason for this is that this Focus RS is 5-door only. It does make it practical though, but really if you want the sensible hot hatch, the Golf R is both more roomy and less likely to make you look like you're having a midlife crisis.
And while onlookers see a boy racemobile, on the inside it doesn't actually feel that much different than a normal Focus.
There are just a few flashes of RS-ness about the place, and while the Recaro bucket seats look and feel great, they are seated a bit too high, plus they'll cost you an extra £1,500. And then there's the horrid gauges stuck on the top of the dash, which look like they belong on a child's toy, not a £31,000 car.
And as you're going about your daily business, the firm suspension will rattle your bones even in its supposedly softer setting, while the turning circle of an ocean liner will mean that, well, when you try to do a U-turn, yes, you're going to look a little bit like a beached whale. Okay, so this is a bit embarrassing. Sorry about that. Let's get out of here.
But now I'm about to do another U-turn, because the moment you find yourself on an open road, any complaint you may have about the RS is soon forgotten.
This is one of the most fun cars I've ever driven in my life, regardless of price, brand, performance, or whatever. It's epic.
So what is it that makes the car so special?
Okay then, so the engine, well, it's always on point. You put your foot down and no lag. It just takes off. I mean, this thing flies. 0 to 62 miles an hour is just 4.7 seconds, which is actually slightly quicker than a Gen 1 Porsche 911 Carrera S 997. And top speed, 165 miles an hour, which is, well, that's fast enough really, isn't it, for a Ford Focus? Then there's the gear change. This car is a manual only. It's proof this is set up as a pure driver's car. The shift itself is nice and short, got a positive slick feel to it. Maybe not quite as snickety as that in a Honda Civic Type R, but it's still pretty lovely. The clutch though, yeah, that's a little bit sharp, but yeah, I can forgive it because the rest of the transmission is just so good. And then there's the steering. This is about as good as an electrically assisted power system gets. You know, you just feel totally keyed into the car. Then, of course, there's the brakes. Massive Brembo brakes, the biggest fitted to any RS car. And finally, there's the brilliant chassis balance. So this Focus RS does that thing that all great sporty Fords do, where you feel like there's almost a stake through your body and the car pivots around you. You feel integral to the whole thing. You can feel exactly what's going on. You're not just the driver, you're actually part of the car.
But the thing which separates the Focus RS from front-wheel drive hot hatches and even other all-wheel drive cars is the clever 4x4 system.
Now, what makes this car so sweet to drive is its specially developed GKN Twinster torque vectoring all-wheel drive system. So there's your engine, there's your front wheels, there's your rear wheels, and that's the rear differential. Now, as you're driving along, if you go into a corner, the car's electronics know you're doing this, and it can send power up to 70% of the power to the back, even before the front start to slip. But this is the really clever bit. So you have two clutches there, and they can send 100% of the drive that's gone to the rear to one of the rear wheels to effectively spin faster and therefore drive you quickly around the corner. And as a result, this car feels generally rear drive biased to drive in the same way that a 120 grand Audi R8 does. And what's amazing is that Ford has done this for the same money as the less powerful front wheel drive only Honda Civic Type R, and that's why the Ford Focus RS for me is just so tasty.
What's more, the various electronics let you make the most out of this brilliant all-wheel drive system.
There's a little button down here you can press to change the mode of the car. So I've moved it from sport into track mode, which stiffens up the suspension. And it also releases some of the shackles of the ESP. But there's also a drift mode on a Focus. And what that lets you do is really, well, it lets you act like a complete hooligan in this car and get it sliding like you never imagined a Ford Focus would be able to. I mean, it's things like that that make this car, you know, so much fun. It's fun on track and it's fun on road. I'm quite literally blown away by this thing.
I also feel privileged to know that in years to come, when people talk about this car as a seminal moment in automotive history, like they do with the Escort Cosy, I can say, I was there.
So then, overall, what do I think of the Ford Focus RS? Well, yeah, it does look a little bit boy racery and the ride is very firm, but it's absolutely brilliant to drive and a total performance car bargain. Now, if you click up there, you can get more information and find out the best deal you can get on a Ford Focus RS at carwow.co.uk. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it and subscribe to our channel. And if you click over there, you can watch another hot Ford, the Mustang V8, battle it out against an Audi TT and a BMW M235i. Now, did you know that the clever four-wheel drive system in the Ford Focus is made by a company called GKN? And when I was an accountant, I used to audit them.